Hello, viewers. This is Governance Index on Indian Television. I'm George Rapper. Today's conversation, we are exploring the political ding-dong that ensued between Donald Trump of the United States and Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine at the start of the weekend on Friday. Trump wanted to sign a deal with Zelensky to give the U.S. access to Ukraine's valuable minerals, lithium, for instance. The idea was that the U.S. would get a share of the profits from these minerals as they were paying in support for what America did for them past during the war. However, deal fell apart after a heated argument between Trump and Zelensky in the Oval of the Office in the White House. Trump felt disrespected at the council signing ceremony, saying that Zelensky was not prepared for peace. The exchange was both hilarious and sublime, reflecting the power play that marks international politics and relations. Now take your time and watch the presidential meeting. We shall be right back.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
All right, so welcome back to Governance Index. Now, joining me to speak on this matter is the analyst, Ibrahim Umar Warse. Ibrahim, you're welcome to this program, Governance Index.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
All right, I believe you watched what happened on Friday. It was an unprecedented event, unprecedented discussion between two national leaders of two sovereign states. But let me ask you, what was your first impression when you watched it?
Actually, my first impression was Trump being Trump. Trump is a controversial person. There are things that set him apart from normal conventional politicians that we know. He talks unfiltered. He says what is in his mind without fear or favor. So it's kind of surprising for some, for them to come out in that medium and have this kind of conversation in front of the US media. But Trump wants to send a message clearly, and he said it during his inauguration, that he's going to be the leader that will bring back the America, the old America, the America that people respect and fear. So I think that's a strong message. And immediately after that meeting at the Oval Office, his closest ally, Elon Musk, posted it on his Twitter handle, saying, watch with the caption, "Watch this video closely," which signifies that they are sending a message to the whole world that it is no longer business as usual. It is business unusual.
But Trump talked about hatred. Zelensky having a kind of hatred for Russian President Vladimir Putin. But what kind of hatred would there is a very clear situation here. We had the aggressor, which is Russia, invaded Ukraine and then started destroying everywhere. So what kind of hatred do you think Zelensky would have for Putin? Where is it coming from?
That's actually the reason behind the hatred. You said it all. The aggression on their own land and so on and so forth. Zelensky, I think, is one of the youngest leaders we have currently in the world. And he grew up mostly during the time of Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has been the president of Russia, I think, for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah, exactly.
So he witnessed some of the most horrific events caused to his own people by Vladimir Putin. And he was a comedian, don't forget. And before he became president, the reason why he was famous was He was a comedian, and most of the things he did was mimicking what Trump in a joking way, showing the people what Trump has been doing to his own people. So it's not a surprise that he hates Trump and he has that level of hatred to Trump and the Russian authority, or Russian regime.
Now, what do you find most interesting about this conversation? What were your best moments of the conversation?
Actually, the best moment of the conversation was when Trump was reminding, or rather warning, Zelensky that you are gambling with the life of millions of people. You are gambling with World War III. And he keep emphasizing that you are playing a cards, and the cards, the odds are not on your side, which signifies that most of these leaders, they're just playing live people like a pawn on a chess game. They understand the consequence pretty well. But the irony in it is that most of these people are not going to fall victim. Once everything that is happening happen, the most vulnerable of the society are going to suffer. And which further re-emphasize that African proverb that when two elephants are fighting, only the green grass suffer. So they know the consequence pretty well. But for some reasons, some people will just leverage on their own people's vulnerabilities to rally support, to get the maybe people will just be perceiving them as heroes. While in the real sense, if you understand the power game very well, you understand that they are the real problem of their own people. Because the life of a single individual is supposed to be more valuable than your ego and any other thing.
So, some people would say that Trump said that Zelensky respected him, and even the Vance, J.D. Vance. I was like, it was so impressive when I saw him speak, because he was somebody who should be, helping to,
calm the situation,
but
yes,
also adding fuel to injury.
Mm-hmm.
So some people said that Zelensky disrespected Trump. I watched the video of that speech. So no disrespect in that. Whatever he said, it was just expressing the way he felt, because this was a man who has led his people to war more than three years now, and he's just standing strong. So do you think that Zelensky disrespected Trump in any way?
No, I don't think he disrespected Trump. Although Trump has the perception that he disrespected him, first and foremost from his regalia, his dressing, the way he appeared.
Casually.
Yeah, casually, he didn't wear war suits to meet with a leader of this caliber, the US president for that matter. So he felt insulted. While on the other side, I can understand why Volodymyr Zelensky decided to appear casually, because he's sympathizing with his people and also showing his solidarity. So in that case, that's the first thing that caused the misconception between the two leaders. Where Zelensky is appearing there with the full hope that President Trump is going to support and back them, while President Trump is just going there with a business mindset. By the way, he's a businessman. In a deal, you just weigh your own profit and loss and see if the deal is going to favor me, and venturing into it. There is no emotion attached. So that's the motive behind Trump's response. And Trump has the reputation of being a very fantastic deal maker. So he's just being himself.
Now, Trump said that Putin respects him. But Zelensky told him that, we have had deals in the past with this man, and he broke all these deals. And now Trump is very confident that this man respects him. So what do you think gives Trump that confidence that Putin will not violate this any possible deals that they would make in the future?
Maybe because of the understanding they have between each other. Everybody knows that Trump and Putin, they have good time always, even when he was the first time he became president of the United States. For the first time, the bilateral relation between Russia and US drew nearer. People started to see that maybe the tension will go down. They understand each other. And you have to understand that the human animal is dealing strictly with psychology. If you know you're dealing with someone that there must be a consequence for every action, there must be a reaction. That's the law of nature. So you're dealing with someone like Trump. You think twice before you do it. Anything. And that's why Trump is saying, that's Biden, that's Obama, not me. Which signifies that they are two different people and we have different approach. Everybody has different approach. The way people approach you may be different from the way they approach me. And that's because of the person you are and the person I am. We have individual differences. If someone is going to treat you and he think that there will be no consequence attached to it, believe me, people will just be walking over you. But if they know that there must be a consequence, you must pay if you deal with me in certain ways, then they will think twice before they even do it. So I agree with him definitely. The treatment between him and Joe Biden and Obama may be different, completely different.
But do you think that Trump's position is supported by most Americans? Or does what I see here is personality playing out, personality of Trump, not necessarily the national interest or the popular opinion in US. So do you think that what Trump, the behavior he displayed on Friday is supported by most Americans?
Yes, definitely. An average American is just looking at it like foreign aid to an average American is a charity, taking taxpayers' money and giving to foreign countries. That's to an average American. And it will easily, an average American will easily support what Trump did at the Oval Office. Because how can you be taking billions of dollars, like that $350 billion during Biden's regime alone, given to Ukraine? So to an average American, it doesn't make any sense. But if you look at critically, foreign aid is not a charity. It's actually based on strategy, strict strategy. And most of the countries use it to control. If I'm giving you this, what are you going to give me back in return? That's how it works.
That's what Trump said. Because when they were conversing, Trump told Zelensky that Biden had spent $350 billion.
Yes.
So the US had invested millions of dollars in Ukraine.
In Ukraine, not just Ukraine, now, everywhere in the world. But the biggest beneficiaries of United States of America, the biggest beneficiaries in recent years is Russia, Ukraine and Israel. These two countries are the biggest beneficiaries. Then maybe some African countries, because they are giving African countries in a USAID a huge amount of money. But like it narrowed down to the control also. You must support American stance at the United Nations if you are receiving their own aids. And also they will come and be taking your mineral resources from your country. It's just a deal. It's not a charity.
Okay. Now, the deal has been aborted. Yesterday, Sunday, Zelensky was hosted by Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And they had a meeting with other European leaders. At the end of the meeting, Keir Starmer promised to support Ukraine militarily and also urge other European leaders. And even he said that he knew that Trump and US would support that move. He talked about the coalition of the willing to support their own, because Ukraine is in Europe, not in the North America. So they feel more threatened than a kind of disunity in Europe between Russia and Ukraine than US would feel. So I think this war is concerned with them more than US and all that. So do you think that the US will still, support that coalition? And secondly, how would you feel? How do you think Putin would feel? Or how do you think he felt after watching that heated argument that happened on Friday?
Yeah, actually, you feel good because the card are just playing in his own favor. That's obvious. But one thing is certain, the relationship between Ukraine or the European countries with the United States of America go far beyond presidents. the diplomats, and every other person in the country, and even the country's ideal, support the relationship between these two bodies. Because after the Second World War, that was when the NATO was created, North Atlantic Treaty Organizations, what comprises of most of the country in western part of Europe at the time. At the time, there was a clear border between the western countries in the western part of Europe and the countries in the eastern part of Europe. The border, the countries at the east comprises of the Soviet Union at the time, Poland, Czech Republic, Georgia, Ukraine, Finland, and most of the countries at the eastern part of Europe. And at the western part of Europe, England, France, at the western part of Europe, including Germany. And a unified Germany poses a threat to the Western world, most especially if that unified Germany is joining force with the Soviet Union. So at the time, the European countries decided that they want to lure Germany to be part of the NATO. That was when the treaty was signed between the European countries and the Soviet Union, that we agree that Germany are going to join force with you, but you are not going to move an inch on your current territory. That means NATO are not going to go anywhere eastward again. But after that agreement was signed in the 1990, fast forward 1999, countries like Czech Republic, Poland joined the NATO. Ukraine later on and Georgia, who happened to be part of the Great Soviet Union, decided that they want to join the Soviet Union. So for the interest, not just for the interest of Russia, but for their own security, Ukraine joining NATO poses a threat to their own security, to the security of Russia. So, and I believe even United States of America will never allow Mexico to join force with Russia. It makes a lot of sense for me that some people think that Putin is being too emotional about Ukraine. Why wouldn't you allow a sovereign nation to do as they wish? But it goes beyond that. How can you allow a country, your neighbor, to join force with your biggest enemy? After the Cold War, after Second World War, NATO was created, and it was created with the sole aim of destroying the Soviet Union. And they succeeded in splitting the country into 9 different countries, which Ukraine was part of the Great Soviet Union. And it's not just your neighbor, but your own child deciding to join force with your enemy. How are you going to feel? You must be emotional. So that's what is happening. That is what is metamorphosing in the region. Ukraine, in the other hand, they are feeling, no, Russia cannot decide for us. We are a sovereign country, and we can decide to do what we want to do. And the reason behind it is that the reason why all the European nations must support Ukraine's stance is the fact that they are just seeing themselves on the shoe in the shoe of Ukraine. If today United States of America, the big brother, is turning his back on Ukraine, tomorrow it might be me. So we must unite. And by the way, United States of America and Russia and France and England are nuclear power countries. Only 2 in Europe, France and England, are nuclear power. But Russia has like more than 5,000 nuclear arsenals. United States of America, on the other hand, have similar. But all of the countries that are nuclear power, because we have 9 officially nuclear power countries in the world, 2 are in Europe, 1 is in North America, and I think a couple of them in Asia. We have France, England in Europe, United States of America in northern part of America. We have Russia in Europe, also in Asia, because it's a very big country. We have India, we have China, we have North Korea, and we have Pakistan. These are the official countries that have nuclear weapons, and we have unofficial ones, like Iran, that they are unofficially a nuclear power country. So for Europe, England and France, they have less than 300 nuclear arsenal combined. Russia alone has more than 5,000. For them to fight Russia, they need to unite themselves. And they think Vladimir Putin at any stage in time will just decide to invade any country at will. So they need their big brother, United States of America, to stand with them as always. Because United States of America is the only country that will put Russia in check.
So do you see any progress in the future between Trump, Zelensky, and European countries?
Definitely, it's just a game of interest. If the dice rule in the favor of United States of America, they will sign the deal. It's all about interest. People are just thinking politics and diplomacy has anything to do with emotions, but on the contrary, it has nothing to do with emotion. It's just about interest. Russia sit down, like, let me give you an example. 2001, at the United Nations Security Council, the United States of America proposed that they wanted to invade Iraq, right? And all the members of the Security Council supported the United States of America's stand. It was not like you are our enemies. In politics, there is that long-standing adage that there is no constant enemy, no permanent friend, just constant interest. And it is like that. Once the interest favors United States of America, Trump must sign.
All right. Thank you very much. It's nice having you on Governance Index. Omar Wasi Ibrahim. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Here we draw the curtain. If you like this video, do not hesitate to hit the like button, share this video. See you next time. Bye-bye.